All right, we have Dalajut.
Hmm.
Regarding logs which fell upon a liquid and then regarding logs upon which a liquid fell and then rain fell on them, if the volume of rainwater exceeded the volume of the liquid, it is tahor. If you took the logs outside so the rain should fall on them, then even though the volume of rainwater exceeded the volume of the liquid, it is tameh. If the logs absorbed tameh liquids, then even though he took them outside so rain should fall on them, the rainwater is tahor, but he should kindle them only with tahor hands. And Machshirin says if the logs were moist and he kindled them and the volume of the liquid they excreted was greater than the volume of the liquid they absorbed, the liquid is tahor. If someone immersed in a river and there was another river in front of him and he crossed it, the water of the second river cleanses the water of the first river. If his friend pushed him to this drunkenness, and likewise to his animal, the water of the second river cleanses the water of the first river. And if he was sporting with them, it is included in the law of the water as place. If someone swims on the water that splashes is not included in the law of water as place. But if he intended to splash water on his friend, this is included in the law of water as place. If someone makes bubbles in the water, this water that splashes and that which is in it are not included in the law of water as place.
Okay. All right. Mishnah Gimel. Peiros sheyarad hadelef letzochan. Um, ubalalan. Okay, so what happened is that he left some produce outdoors, and it got rained on, or it got or some basically some water fell on it without the owner's consent, and he wanted them to dry quickly. So what happened was that maybe it's a kind of a produce, like let's imagine a pineapple with lots of bumps and things. So you get deeper parts where the water is stuck, and you've got like a little pockets of water. So what he did is he stuck his finger and spread the water out so that it would evaporate more quickly. So now he is actually moving the water intentionally, but he doesn't want it there, tachlis. He wants it to evaporate. He wants it to go away. Okay. So Rabbi Shimon says, well, he moved it. It's intentional, therefore b'chiyutan. Chachamim omrim, enan b'chiyutan. He doesn't ultimately want the water to be there. He's just moving it so that it'll go away faster. So it's the same as if he's shaking it off to try and get rid of it. Um, okay, and the halacha is like the Chachamim. Mishnah Daled, Hamoded es habor. Okay, he's measuring. There's a cistern, and he wants to know how deep it is. So he takes a stick, and he pushes the stick into the water to see how deep it is, and then picks it up again, and you'll see the watermark on the stick.
Right.
Okay. So it says the Tanakam, well, it says the Tanakama, who's Rabbi Tarfon, as we'll see. Rabbi Tarfon says it doesn't matter whether he's measuring the depth or the width. So, for example, he's taking a stick and measuring across the circumference, across the not the circumference, but the diameter of the bore, and it gets wet from the water over there. It says "Harei ze b'chiyutan," divrei Rabbi Tarfon. He says in both cases, the water that's on the stick is going to be b'chiyutan. If it falls on produce, it will make it susceptible. Rabbi Akiva Omer le'omko b'chiyutan, le'rochbo ena b'chiyutan. He says measuring the depth, yes, because it's inevitable. If you're measuring the depth, that the water is going to have to cling to the stick, and that's so you need it. But to measure the diameter, it doesn't. He didn't have to get it wet at all. He could have done it above the water level, and that would have done the same thing. So the fact that there's water on the stick is actually incidental. He didn't need it there, and it's not b'chiyutan. And I believe the halacha is Rabbi Akiva. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, hey. Pashat yado or ragla or kane labor. So he sticks his hand or foot or a reed into the cistern. Le'da'im yesh bo mayim, just to see if there is water. It's dark, right? We're in a dark cave, and he can't tell if there's water or not. So he sticks his foot or his toe or just to see if there's a disturbance in the water, right? He touches it, and you can feel if there's water there. Okay, yes, it is. And his hand comes up and he's got a bit of water on his hand. Is that b'chiyutan? No, says the Tana. That's not called b'chiyutan because the slightest of touches will tell you already that there's water there. You just want to know that there is water there. He doesn't need to know how deep it is. He just wants to know if it's there. Okay. If he wants to know how much water is in it, then that's b'chiyutan, like we just learned in our previous Mishnah. Okay, because you've got to stick your hand in deep to find out how much water there is. Zarak Eben Labor. What happens if he's just throwing a stone into the bore to hear the sound that it makes? They die im yesh bomaim. If he just wants to know that there's water in there, it doesn't make a plop sound or it doesn't make a thud sound. Okay. Hanitazin einan b'chiyutan. So water that splashes. So let's say there really is water in there and water splashes back out and lands in some produce. Is that b'chiyutan? Nope. Because he doesn't care about that water splashing out. He would have learned just as much if the water hadn't splashed out. Ve'ez she'ba'evin tahorim. And let's say he threw in a rock and it's a kind of a shallow pool. So part of the rock is now sticking out of the bottom of the is now sticking out of the water. So it's partially submerged and it's wet because it splashed and there's water that splashed onto the top of the rock. Now, if produce touches that water that's on that rock, also is tahor because it doesn't help him. That's not called leratzon and not bechiyutan at all.
That's not what he wants, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All
And
right.
that's three short Mishnayos for today.
If this is a Beit Chet, if one found in that city a lost object, if a majority of the population are non-Jews, the finder is not required to announce the find. But if a majority of the population are Jews, the finder is required to announce it. If the population is equally divided, the finder is required to announce it. If one found in the city bread, we rule on the bread based on the identity of the majority of bakers. If the bread was made of fine flour, we rule on it based on the identity of the majority of those who eat bread made of fine flour. But Yehuda says if it was black bread, we rule on it based on the identity of the majority of those who eat black bread. If one found in that city meat, we rule on the meat based on the identity of the majority of the butchers. If the meat was cooked, we rule on it based on the identity of the majority of those who cook meat. Regarding one who finds produce on the road, if the majority of people bring something here. Majority of the people bring their produce into their houses, it is exempt from tithes. But if the majority take it into sell in the market, it is obligated in tithes. If half bring it to their homes and half take it to the market, it is demai. Regarding a storeroom into which Jews and non-Jews place produce, if the majority is from non-Jews, it's definitely tevel, and if the majority is from Jews, it's demai. If half of it is from non-Jews and half from Jews, it is definitely tevel. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Or they come and say, even if they are all non-Jews and a single Jew places produce in the storehouse, it's demai.
Okay. Nida, Aleph Gimel.
Eliezer says there are four women whose time suffice for them: a virgin, a pregnant woman, a nursing woman, and an old woman. Rabbi Yeshua says, I have heard this law only with regard to a virgin. However, the law is like Rabbi Eliezer. What is meant by a virgin? Any girl who had never discharged blood in her life, even if she is married. Regarding a pregnant woman, from time suffices for her only from when her fetus becomes noticeable. Regarding a nursing woman, the time suffices for her until she weans her child, and if she gave her child to a wet nurse or she weaned him while he died, Ramea says she conveys truma retroactively for 24 hours. Nothing can come and say her time suffices for her. What is meant by an old woman? Any woman for whom 3 periods have passed near her old age. Rabbi Eliezer says any woman for whom 3 periods have passed for her time suffices for her. And Rabbi Yossi says a pregnant woman and a nursing woman for whom 3 periods have passed, the time suffices for them.
Okay, Nagayim, Yud Daled Hey.
Preferably, the two birds should be identical in appearance, height, and monetary value, and they should be acquired at the same time. Even if they are not identical, they may be used. If he purchased on one bird one day and another bird the other day or the next day, they may be used. If the first bird was slaughtered and was found to be a non-wild bird, he should acquire a mate for the second. The first one may be eaten. If he slaughtered the first bird and it was found to be treifa, he should acquire a mate for the second. It is permitted to benefit from the first one. If it's the spilled blood, the blood should have been sent away, is left to die. If the bird should have been sent away, dies, the blood of the slaughtered bird must be spilled out. The cedar wood should be 1 cubit long and as long as a quarter of the leg of a bed. Measure the thickness by splitting a bed leg into 2 pieces and splitting the 2 pieces into 4. The Ezov must not be Greek Ezov, nor Kokali Ezov, or Roman Ezov, nor desert Ezov, or any other Ezov that would a qualifying description. On the eighth day, the Matzorah brings three animals: a sin offering, a guilt offering, and a burnt offering. A poor person brings burnt offerings for the sin offering and the burnt offering.
Mhm.
Okay. These are all short today.
Yeah, Arachin.
Arachin. Wait, how many do we have? Are we going to move in? I think tomorrow we're going to move away from Nagayim.
If so, after Nagam is Para.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Arachim, and we are at Zion Gimel. If he consecrated it and redeemed it, it does not go out of his possession at Yovel. For if his son redeemed it, it goes out to his father at Yovel. If another person redeemed it, or one of the kinsmen or redeemed it from his possession, it does not go out of possession at Yovel. If one of the Kohanim redeemed it and is still in his possession, he should not say, since it goes out to the Kohanim at Yovel and is already in my possession, it is mine. Rather, it goes out to his fellow Kohanim. If the Yovel arrived and it was not redeemed, the Kohanim enter it and pay its worth. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon says they enter but do not pay. As Eliezer says they either neither enter nor pay. Rather, it is known as abandoned field until the second Yovel. And if the second Yovel arrived and it was still not redeemed, it is known as a twice abandoned field until the third Yovel. The Kohanim never enter it until another person redeems it. If one buys a field from his father, if his father died and he then consecrated it, it is like an ancestral field. And if he consecrated it and then his father died, it's like an acquired field. These are the words of Rav Meir. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, however, say it is like an ancestral field, as is said, but if the field of his acquisition, which is not of the field of his ancestral holding, it must be a field that does not stand to become the field of his ancestral holding. That includes this field which stands to become the field of his ancestral holding. An acquired field does not go out to the Kohanim at Yovel because a person cannot consecrate something that is not his. Kohanim and Leviim may always consecrate, may always redeem both Yovel and after Yovel.
Okay.
Okay.
Dushin.
I'm sorry, what did you say we're doing after
After Nagayim is Para.
What a memory I have. A man betroths a woman by himself or through his agent. A woman is betrothed by herself through her agent, and a man gives his daughter a kedushin when she's a nahara by herself or through his agent. If one says to a woman, betrothed to me with this date, betrothed to me with this one, and if one of them has a vow of betrutha, she is betrothed. If not, she is not betrothed. If he says with this and with this and with this, and there is a vow of betrutha in all of them, she is betrothed. If not, she is not betrothed. And if she was eating them one by one, she is not betrothed unless one of them has a vow of betrutha. If a man said to a woman, betrothed to me with this cup of wine, and it was found to be of honey, and it was found to be of wine with this dinner of silver, and was found to be of gold, and it was found to be of silver, on a condition that I'm a rich man, and it was found to be a poor man, or a poor man, and he was found to be a rich man, she is not betrothed. From Shimon says, if he deceives her to her advantage, she is betrothed. Betrothed to me on condition that I am a Kohen, and it was found to be a Levi, and he was found to be a Kohen, a Nissanite, and he was found to be a Mamzer, and a Mamzer was found to be a Nissanite, a townsman, and he was found to be a city dweller, or a city dweller, he was found to be a townsman, on condition that my house is close to the bathhouse, and it was found to be a distant, and was found to be close on a condition that I have a daughter or a slave who makes braids, and he does not on a condition that I do not have, or he has on condition that I know sons, and he does have on a condition that I have, and it does not. In all these cases, all she said, I intended to be betrothed to him. Nonetheless, she is not betrothed. The same applies if she deceived him.
Okay.
Okay. Shabbos. Okay. One who bathes in the water of a cave or in the water of Tiberias and dried himself with even 10 towels may not carry them in his hands, but 10 people may dry themselves with one towel that faces their hands and their feet, and they may carry it in their hands. We may anoint and massage the stomach, but we may neither knead nor scrape the skin. We may not go down to kodema, nor take an emetic, or straighten the infant's limbs, nor set a fracture. If one's hand or foot becomes dislocated, He may not massage them with cold water, but he may bathe according to his usual manner, and he is healed. He is healed. A person who may borrow pitchers of wine or pitchers of oil from his friend, provided he does not say to him, "Lend me." In the same manner, a woman may borrow loaves of bread from a friend. If he does not trust him, he may leave his cloak with him and make a reckoning with him after Shabbos. So too in Yerushalayim, when the day before Pesach falls on Shabbos, he may leave his cloak with him, take his Pesach offering, and make a reckoning with him after Yom Tov.
Okay, that's it.
All right.
All right, we are done.